Hi, I'm Levon Blucher-Namany, and I'm one of the lay leaders with the United Church of Cloverdale. I'm honored to introduce our new pastor, Jen Collins. This interview will give all of you a chance to get to know Jen a little more personally and professionally. So, welcome, Jen Collins.
Thank you, Levon. I appreciate that introduction.
Thank you. Why don't you start off by telling us just a little bit about yourself?
Well, I have lived in California now for about since 1995. I can't do the math this morning. But grew up in Michigan, and southwest corner of Michigan in a small rural town of about 3,000, and then moved to California to go into education and work there, and then made the transition up to Northern California in 2010. So I've been up here for about 12 years and worked at that time as a healthcare chaplain. And I'm the youngest of three, but I take on the responsibilities of all of my siblings. I have that honor and being able to help do caregiving for my parents. My mom lives with me now because of her health, and journeyed with my dad up until his death last year, right about this time. And also have experienced other losses in my life, but have, including the murder of my sister in 1993. But those have been significant parts of my life that have helped me to journey with other people in their experiences of loss. And just enjoy living here in California, where I get the mix of 4 seasons and don't have to shovel snow.
That's always nice.
Yes.
What are some of your hobbies? I know you're an avid birder.
Yes, I am. I was actually enjoying that today as I was making my way here and anticipating spending time with you, Levon, and observing osprey, which are some of my favorite birds to observe. I also, actually all birds catch my attention, as well as other raptors, but I also enjoy just being in nature, period. Observing other wildlife, hiking, being in different locations, and not just here. I love to get away to other countries and travel, and specifically so I can have one-on-one God time and hiking, and just being able to disconnect from technology and all the different things that allow me to slow down and just be and to listen. I enjoy reading. I spend most of my time now listening to books, though, versus reading them. I enjoy going for runs, jogging, being out in nature with friends in that way. And I'm just trying to think if I think those are my main passions, other than observing and just journeying with individuals in their life journeys.
Well, I know you've taken some pretty incredible long walks.
Yes.
One in Spain.
Yes, I did the Camino. I did the northern route, which was full amount that I did there was about 600 miles.
Wow. That's amazing. What attracted you to this church, to the United Church of Cloverdale?
It started off as a personal journey, my spiritual journey in that way. I was at a point in my life where I was beginning to understand some things about myself that conflicted with my faith heritage, specifically learning that I'm gay, and that was distressing for me and not something that my faith upbringing supported, and it also didn't support in my ministry at that time as a chaplain. And so I was looking for a spiritual home that accepted me for who I am and that came alongside me. And as I looked for a church that believed and sought to look after or to follow the teachings of Jesus and to accept people where they're at, I found this church specifically, not just the United Church of Christ, but the United Church of Cloverdale. And the very first day that I walked in the door, nobody knowing my journey or what had brought me there that day, I found acceptance I found a place that felt like home and that I was willing to risk reinvesting in a spiritual community when I was experiencing personal spiritual distress. And so that was the first thing, was that there was shared beliefs in reaching people, coming alongside them, being a place that was open to anybody that came in and welcoming.
Well, I think I can speak for all of us when I can say that we're really glad you walked through those doors.
Thank you.
What led you specifically to become a pastor?
That started several years ago. I've known for a long time that I have a passion for journeying with individuals, and that started off in the field of education. But it also was a part of my upbringing. My parents owned a small private, what you would call today a boarding care, in the home that I grew up in. And I observed from the age of about 1.5 my parents caring for individuals, giving them dignity and honoring who they were as individuals through their most vulnerable points in life. And when I went into education and was a school counselor, I had that same opportunity to come alongside individuals. And when my parents started having health issues, I learned, as I considered taking over their business, that setting wasn't where my passion was or where God was leading me. And so I was prayerful in seeing where God wanted me to go next. And that is when I first experienced a call to go into ministry. And at that time it was healthcare chaplaincy. And the very moment I felt and heard that call, I felt this joy that I couldn't explain. It was just, it made me think, why didn't I think of this before? And I realized that it wasn't my timing, that it was all about where God was leading me next and drawing on all of my life experiences before. And so going into healthcare chaplaincy, first in a hospital setting and then in a hospice setting, allowed me to journey with individuals and also to come alongside individuals in the way that I had experienced with God in my own very difficult experiences with my sister's death, and also just the way that I know that God comes or accepts all people, and that was important for me to continue to do.
What made you accept the call to this specific church? I mean, you've touched on it already.
It's because of what I'd experienced here that authentically represents how I have experienced God, that accepting of other individuals, that wanting to offer sanctuary and hope to anybody that walks through the door. And it's also for me a way of giving back to a very specific church community, spiritual community that had come alongside me. And I knew that it was a place that I wanted to continue to be a part of. And as I felt God leading me to the next level or the next step of my ministry out of healthcare chaplaincy and into a church setting, this is where I wanted to be, and the timing and the door opened. There's a history for me of God opening doors at specific times, and it was very clear to me that this was that next step.
What are your plans and dreams for this church?
It's to continue to find ways that create spaces that individuals feel welcome and accepted. This church is already doing that, but COVID has really given us opportunities to realize that there's even more ways to help people feel included, whether that be in person or online or when they're isolated in their homes. And being able to draw on my background in healthcare chaplaincy and coming alongside individuals who feel some of the hardest times in their lives, whether they're isolated or healthcare crisis. But it's also about my vision of giving hope to individuals, meeting them where they are, and also and that includes in the community, wanting to continue to connect with community and build on that. It's just a lot of exciting ways for us to continue. One of the things, one thing I didn't mention that I really value about this church, and that is a part of my vision, is that desire and that emphasis on the radical ways that Jesus went to people who are in the margins, people who don't always feel welcome in a place that is organized religion or within four walls. And for me, it's really important to continue to teach and to share what that looks like, and to also model it and to live that out. And so that's really important for me to, as a part of this church, to continue to grow and learn and share how to do that.
So we will be celebrating Pastor Jen's installation with a special worship service on May 22nd. I believe that's going to be at 4 p.m. And will it be in the park next to the church?
No, it's going to be actually in the sanctuary itself. And then afterwards, there's still conversation, but it will probably be either in our fellowship hall, depending on the weather, or in the park afterwards.
Okay. So we hope everyone's invited to attend to help us officially welcome Jen. And of course, everyone would be most welcome at any of our regular worship services, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Come in, experience why we are also thankful that Jen has accepted the call to become our pastor, and get a chance to know her a little bit better. Jen, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, definitely. I would want to add that if you're not able to join us in person, that we're also available via Zoom and also on our YouTube channel. But more important to me is sometimes church is not the place that's comfortable to me, and I personally have found a lot of inner connection with God out in nature or outside. So I just want to offer for anybody who would like to connect or meet, I'm open to meeting for coffee or going for a walk. I would love to get to know any of you and just provide support in any way that I can. And if that's a way that would be meaningful for you, please do let me know or contact the church office.
Okay, well, Jen, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And we look forward to a long and fruitful relationship with you at UCC.
Thank you. It's an absolute honor.